Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Smash Dispatch podcast. Of course, I am one of your hosts, as always, Fidel, joined alongside my co-host, Mr. Ultimate Shadow X. Cool, but yeah, so let's get right into it, right? So basically, last night, I wrap up my stream and I see people telling me, hey Fidel, Smash has been updated. I'm like, what's going on? And then yeah, they added small battlefield to Smash, which is not something I thought I needed or thought I needed to exist, but now I'm really happy about. What were your initial thoughts when you just saw this pop up?
Like you would think that'd be something that would have came with Min Min or the last balance patch, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like it just came out of nowhere. That's crazy. Like it kind of reminds me of like when you know, it kind of reminds me of in Smash 4 when they're like, oh, hey, here you can play on all these 8 players on all these new stages, and we would just get random stage DLC, except this is just like a free new version of Battlefield. Like, it's really cool.
Exactly.
I mean, like, it's something, it's like, it's not anything major, but it's still nice that we're just getting random stuff like that and quality of life changes still, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like that's cool because it can like drive a discussion about like, because like this is, I mean, other than Spirits, this is the first time Smash Ultimate is getting its first free DLC stage, which is kind of like, and it's not a crazy deal, but it's a notable deal because it's something that for the longest time we were wondering like, hey, they did this in Wii U era, are they ever gonna do it here? What's going on? How's that gonna work? And yeah, they finally did it, right? Obviously it's for the pre-existing stage and they just removed a platform. But it's kind of a notable thing because yeah, it shows that they are now willing, now that we're what, 2.5 2 years, yes, almost 2 years into the game's life, and now they're willing necessarily to put some free stages in there, which is really interesting. It's that's cool. Like it's just a cool thing in there.
Yeah, like I hope that if they're willing to add stages, like more stages that we get some of the missing stages from the other Smash games that we haven't had. Like, obviously we don't need, like, you know, Sector Z, because that's, you know, like, basically the Brinstar stage, like, stuff like that. But, like, I mean, like, there are some stages missing that are just, like Rainbow Road. Where's Rainbow Road? Like, you'd think that would have been included.
Right,
you know?
Yeah. That's the thing, yeah, that's stuff we talk about, like, well, I mean, you see, now, like, you can see the, stage select screen has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slots to be full, like, on the bottom. Like, it needs 8 slots, so obviously we have, 5 more characters, so that does, I feel like it would just be weird to not just fill in those last 3 spots. Even if it's for a filler, even if it's for something, I feel like they're just gonna have that. Yeah, it's small final destination, exactly. But yeah, like, I mean, I want to read here, because Push Dustin translated Sakurai's tweets really properly here, so I just want to read these before we go through the patch stuff. It's out of nowhere, but small battlefield has been added. When fighting one-on-one, battlefield feels like a bit wide, and final destination feels like it's lacking, so we came up with a middle option with 2 platforms. We weren't able to make an option for all stages, so it's a single stage that you can select. At the same time, we widened the music selection, making all the music available. So then, by the way, we made some improvements to the online experience for 1v1. Please check it out. But yeah, so let's talk about that right away. Like, so what I would have loved if every stage had this option. Would have been really cool because yeah, it's like we've had obviously competitive stages where we've had just, I mean, there's the Pokemon Stadium that has 2 platforms like that. There's I mean, so the Animal Crossing, well, the Animal Crossing has 1 moving one, but like we've had the two layered platform kind of stages. But yeah, when I was playing it last night, I was like, this is actually really fun, and I think the fact that you can on that stage, well, is it? No, now on every Battlefield stage, you can pick every song, right? I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Smash Series stages, so Final Destination and the Battlefields, which are original to Smash, you can pick any song you want on them, which is that's crazy. Like honestly, that's insane. So cool, like that to me is like actually like way more hype because now you don't have to listen to the same songs over again.
Exactly, yeah, no, I mean, I love that, like, obviously people are memeing, like, Megalovania Final Destination, but that is cool, like, that is, like, a really cool matchup song to have in there, and that's, like, that's such a thing it's a thing I've always like weirdly thought about, like yeah, I want that, but I understand why they want to be able to theme it, but it's still really cool. Obviously, having it makes sense honestly for stages like Battlefield and Final Destination because they are not like a set series, right? They're just a Smash stage.
They also added on the
cool.
stage select, you can pick a random FD or a random Battlefield version, which is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that to me, that ties into the stage select screen of like why there's 8 slots. Like I feel like they wouldn't have added that unless like they really wanted it to be so that like, okay, we're planning 8 stages. Obviously, we have the 5 next DLC ones. We're adding 3, and we want it to be like a perfect shape there. Again, obviously, it's a cool option, but I have a feeling maybe they thought of that. They're like, okay, how can we fill this up, this grid a little bit up again? So it might be. We'll see. I really hope it just fills up because it continues to look really weird if it has like 2 or 3 missing slots down there. But yeah, and then we have patch notes on it. So if you wanna read that out.
Yeah. So well, the basically the gist of the like this patch, aside from the Battlefield stuff and the stage stuff, was they actually adjusted online. I don't know in what capacity and it was just for 1v1, by the way, just for 1v1.
Right. Yeah.
It says that they have adjusted it slightly to be better. We don't know specifically what yet, as far as I'm aware, right?
Right. I saw. We don't know. Like I saw some like players yesterday saying it felt a bit better. Like there was less like input lag or whatever, but like obviously it's not like that's not concrete evidence, but I saw some players that like some big like people out there saying that they've noticed better. But again, that could just be like they're having a good quality match versus a laggy match. Like it's hard to specifically tell really. It's not like it's a crazy big update, but yeah, it does say reduced input delay, which is interesting.
Hopefully like, that's, I know that the delay is a problem. I think, overall the connection quality, like if you're wired, it's more noticeable. I haven't really felt anything yet on my end because I've always been wired, but
right.
And then also I think they adjusted the Elite Smash threshold, so it's easier to get in. To Elite Smash,
which is which is
so
weird.
I mean, to be fair though, like it was at a point where you would get like 6 million, 6.5 million GSP, and you still couldn't get into Elite Smash, for some characters. So I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's like I'll try it a bit more because like it's like Elite Smash is something so I don't even know how to get there. I don't even know what's going on with that. So I mean, hopefully like next time I jump in, it'll feel bigger, it'll feel better. But yeah, I mean, either way, Elite Smash is like it's a weird thing in general.
Yeah. But other than that, like, but I think it's nice that we just got a nice update like this out of nowhere, not really tied to a character being released or anything. It just shows that they are still working despite everything going on.
Yeah, it's interesting. Also, they patched out the the T-pose glitch, and they fixed the Springman thing because apparently it showed like T for Springtron.
Yeah, I guess that
for
logo
Springman
was
instead
incorrect.
of S.
That's like only I never noticed
so
that, but I'm
weird.
sure all the ARMS fans were like, "What the hell? This is wrong."
Like, what are you doing, dude? Which
Speaking
is
of which, like, holy shit, dude! It was like just Sakurai's birthday. Man goes into the office, takes out the top platform, calls it a day.
Bro, I love him, man. I really do love him. I really do think. I honestly, like, I was yelling about that last time, but I really do think he really went into the studios like, what can we do? And he just went and fucking removed that. But yeah, like, what's interesting though is I think they're hosting a tournament in Japan using the 2 platform stage. So obviously that's gonna be competitively viable if literally the man himself is saying he wants it to be used for tournaments.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's gonna be tested.
Like,
I think it really depends on the blast zone, because like if you think about WarioWare, the reason why WarioWare isn't picked as a stage is because it's the blast zone is like it's so close, it's so small, or like so close to the side of the stage that characters just die like immediately,
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And also really interesting here of another thing pushed us and said the Battlefield versions are counted as separate stages since they have different lighting and effects. So for third parties, they would still need to receive permission for those new stages.
Really?
So yeah,
that's interesting.
That's really interesting. Yeah, like they even deleting one platform, they'd have to go through all their third-party partners and all that stuff.
Honestly, that just makes the fact that every stage has an Omega and a Battlefield form even crazier because they essentially are changing the layout on every single stage, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's always, I mean, they even, like, obviously, they're not necessarily full stages, but, like, Sakurai will in directs point out, like, yeah, if you count Omega and Battlefield, there's technically 300 stages in the game, which is crazy. So it's, like, it's obviously not necessarily a full-own stage, but it's a variant of a stage, which is unique there. But, yeah, I mean, like, it's I think this is just cool because I think it shows maybe that they're listening. This is the kind of like the first random online update to make things better, and I think maybe just like a lot of developers, I mean, whether we had that fighting game roundtable last week or whatever, that like a lot of these devs, now that even they have to work from home a lot of the times, right, they want their online experience testing stuff to be better, right? So it's almost like strong arm to fix the online a bit on everything there.
Yeah, and I think Sakurai even said that, like, be patient because they're gonna try and work to make it even better in the future. This is just like a first step, I think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he said that, like, you know,
it's really cool.
We're gonna expect more updates on the online in the future. So we'll see. I mean, I think definitely everything going on right now has sort of made a lot of these developers realize, like, hey, we need to make our netcode at least passable, you know?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Again, we talked about it before, like, Sakurai can only do so much because a lot of it is on Nintendo's end, but any sort of adjustment is still nice, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's just like it's still a cool thing that they just randomly did that. And I think what's really, it's like, apparently one of the wordings he uses is this update was like a response, right? Meaning that they are specifically listening to fan feedback and stuff on the online experience, which is good, right? It's not like this isn't just one of those, oh, we just did it. It's like, no, they're clearly listening, obviously, to everything that's going on and all the feedback and stuff, and they're adding more stuff through there. So that's no, I think it's really cool. I think it's a smart idea. I think we should. I just want to see more of this. I really want more. Aside from spirits, I want just more like 8.3 updates, or like when I don't want it to just be 8.0 then 9.0. I want it to be like, give us these small updates where you just randomly add a small new feature and like little things that we've been asking for. Again, like I would love if we've talked about this before, but like I would love if like in online arenas you could have multiple matches going on at once, or like if you could just have a setting so that like the leader of the arena doesn't leave the main, like can't be removed from the main slot, just like if you're streaming and you just want to always be in the stage area. So it's like just little things like that I think they can just do to overall improve the online experience.
Yeah, like I definitely think that and we'll get into this, I definitely think like the philosophy of patching in Ultimate compared to Smash 4 has like changed a lot, because I feel like they made a lot more adjustments over the lifespan of Smash 4, and it feels like we only really get big updates for Ultimate. Like we just get like one big update when a character gets added, and it has like a bunch of stuff in it, but it only really happens when a character gets added. As opposed to Smash 4, where it just felt like it almost felt like almost like every like 2 or 3 months we'd have an update for Smash 4, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like I feel like different, like when it comes to fighting games, I feel like all just generally developers just they take different chances to update games. Like even like Dragon Ball FighterZ does this, where like there will only be like significant character changes when a character is dropped. Some developers literally just have big character jobs. But like no, look at that Smash 4, right? At that time we would literally wake up and there would just be a big balance patch randomly, and like everyone would obviously be trying to decipher, because they didn't tell us exactly like how much damage is different, what's going on here, where's that. It's like it's definitely like I want them to do a bit more of that for future stuff.
Yeah,
I'm looking here.
Yeah, I think, even though I think the philosophy is different for Ultimate, I don't necessarily think it's like a bad thing. It's just, it's a different thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think I do think that it is nice to have, sort of regular updates. But on the other side, it's like, sometimes if you just want to, like, let's say you played a game, you take a break,
Right.
you come back, and, like, suddenly, like, oh, all this has changed, like, this is different. Because, like, I think for the most part, like, a majority of people who play just Smash casually will play it every so often, take a break, and they only really pick it up again when a new character comes out, you know what I mean? So it makes sense to sort of do it this way, too, but... again, like, if you're a regular player, like, it's also nice to have, like, frequent updates so it stays fresh for you, So I can defend both. I can defend both, to be honest.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, that's like, it's like, I think, you don't want it to be massively different. But again, it's like, I also wonder if, do you think maybe I feel like they will at some point, because remember if you, when they first added remember when they added that update where they were like, okay, now 8-player Smash is available on all stages, most stages, right? And I feel like I think we might slowly, I feel like by the end of this game's life, I feel like more and more stages are gonna have this, like, variant. I feel like it's almost going to become the new, like, obviously, Small Battlefield will continue to be its own thing, but I feel like we might honestly see, like maybe they'll call it Alpha, right? Like, they'll call it Alpha, where it's like, oh, there's Omega Battlefield Alpha or whatever, yeah. And maybe they'll just have Nintendo's first-party stages at least, with, like, just the 2 platforms and stuff. Because again, I find that creates a more fun dynamic. I've always preferred the two, if I'm playing with platforms, I've always actually preferred the 2 platforms as opposed to 3. The third one on top, I was just like, it's that extra layer that drives me nuts. I don't know how you feel about it. Which do you prefer, the 2 or the 3 platforms?
Well, I think it depends. Like, I like the... I think the reason why Pokemon Stadium 2 is such a popular stage is because of the 2-platform layout. Like, it feels like the most neutral stage, like, across the cast. Like, like... Because the thing about Battlefield is that the top platforms, like, surprisingly can create, like, some problems for some characters. Where, well, there's obviously, like, ladder combos where you can get comboed up, and then, take you to the top platform. But also, it's sometimes it's harder for a character to land. Like, if you land on the top platform and you're against, like, a swordy, like, someone with a big disjointed, hitbox with aerials, it can be really hard to get off that platform sometimes, So... Pokemon Stadium 2 with the double platform layout, it's like the platform is there because some characters do want platforms, especially if you're against, like, you're against a Little Mac where you have a sword yourself to go through the platforms. You want it there, but you also, like, it also feels fair to characters who don't want platforms because they have a good open space to work with,
Exactly.
Like, that's why,
exactly.
honestly, like, I think, like, Kalos is one of my favorite stages for that reason, because the platforms are there, and they also help you, they help give you more recovery routes, because you don't have to go, because on other stages, like, you can recover high, or you can recover low, and, some stages, it's like, well, if you recover high, there's nothing for you to land on, so you're just leaving yourself open. And Kalos has the platforms up there so that you can land on more safely,
Yeah, exactly.
So I do think more stages that are like 2 platforms definitely works well,
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I definitely like, because again, I'm usually someone who, when I have the option between, like, just Omega or Battlefield, I'll usually pick Omega. But I feel like if more stages had the small Battlefield option, I would be more inclined to enjoy the platform. So yeah, no, it's an interesting choice. And yeah, like, look into the Smash, it's crazy. Yeah, when I'm looking at the Smash 4 patch stuff, there really were a lot of, like, patches that were not tied to characters. Like, you obviously have stuff like when they randomly just added tournament mode, or you could download Peach's Castle or Hyrule Castle 64. That's insane. They just dropped that stuff. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, it was super cool to just, like, come back to, like, it was just nice that, like, every so often we get updates, and it was almost like every month, because, like, I'm looking here, like, 1.1 for Smash 4, 1.1, July 30th, 1.11, September 30th, 1.12, October, December, February. There was patches every month almost in Smash 4 for a period,
it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, especially, well, I think also a difference for that game is its lifespan was shorter, right? Like, I mean, when did Smash 4 come out?
Smash 4 came out like in 2014, and
yeah, 2014.
And the last update was the last major update was 2016. So
right,
I guess
exactly,
we're actually around the same capacity of updates. It's just there was a lot of like it was more spread out over time for Smash 4.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, also, yeah, I mean, looking at that, the significant difference, right, is they assume they probably, well, first of all, they only had one. I mean, it's not even a fighter pass because they were just dropping characters individually. But like they knew that by the end of 2016, it was basically done. No, actually, wait, no, it was 20. Why does it say July 18, 2017? Oh, Amiibo, that's Amiibo.
That's pretty Amiibo,
no,
yeah.
Yeah. But I was saying, like, yeah, it's like for 2016, it's like. That the difference is by the end that was it for it. It was a 2-year run basically. Whereas for Smash Ultimate, the updates I feel like are more spread out because it's obviously longer than a 2-year run that they want to support this game, right? Again, it's always always say of like, first of all, I mean it's still kind of crazy that we're not even close to this pass ending, right? It's gonna be end of next year that it's done. So we've still got a while done. I think that's a reason why we're not gonna see as frequent updates because like the game wants to spread out random stuff like this or updates like this that they can pull through in there, which is interesting. And also there was another thing that I said, yeah, I want to see. Oh yeah, so yeah, the stages. So the only stages we have missing are from Wii U. We have the Woolly World stage. The Donkey Kong Country stage that goes like back and forth. We have the stage where Ridley was a boss. What was it called again?
Pyrosphere.
Right, Pyrosphere. Yeah, we have the crazy Star Fox. What was it? The Great. Is it the Great Brigade? The big Star Fox like set piece stage in Smash Wii U. What the fuck was it?
Where you Great go through like battle, a bunch. Orbital Assault Gate. Yeah.
Yes, great. Orbital Assault, yeah, exactly. And Miiverse, and then for 3DS, we're missing Rainbow Road and Pac-Land. From Brawl, we're missing the DK Climb stage, one of the Pac-Man stages, the old Game & no, not Game & what the fuck's it called? What the hell is the thing where you draw things called?
Oh, well, technically...
I don't remember.
Well, technically,
yeah,
Flat
technically
Zone and Flat Zone 2 got merged, because that's what Flat Zone
yeah,
X
exactly.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at like the list of stages that are missing, like I think a lot, like there are some that are like, oh, Picto Chat from Brawl is missing, but they updated that stage.
Yeah.
Like, because it's exactly. Picto Chat 2 or Picto Chat X now or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stages that are missing are like were just amalgamated into other stages.
Yeah.
There are some that are like, you know, everyone wants Poke Floats back for just, you know, it's the big meme stage. Yeah. Everyone wants Poke Floats, but also like the Pac-Man maze from 3DS. That's like an iconic. That's like that is Pac-Man. So that's like weird to come back. Same with Rainbow Road, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like
I hope they come back. And if they do come back, I hope they're a free update because it's like. You know, this is supposed to be the ultimate one where every stage comes back, you know?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, like, if you were... So, for example, let's say this theory is right, where, like, you look at the stage select screen, we have 5 slots for the DLC and 3 slots for just random new stage. Which of the 3 missing stages would you pick?
Which missing stages I think? I feel like...
Like, if you... 3 of them.
If I could pick 3, I would do, Pac-Maze, Rainbow Road... And then I would do Poke Floats, but I would do I would do like a Poke Floats 2, and it has like a bunch of Sword and Shield Pokemon and that sort of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like an updated Poke Floats of all the new Pokemon. I think people would love that. That'd be super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I almost feel like Poke Floats feels like the one that'll come and it'll be cooler than it was back then. Like, I really think it'll have like new Pokemon, like you said. I think it's like, there's obviously they listen to everything, but it's like the Poke Floats demand was so huge and it was so weird to not have that when so many random stages were in. So yeah, I think Poke Floats will come back. I would love Rainbow Road. Rainbow Road would be my second pick, and yeah, I would pick the pack. I would pick I would actually pick the Donkey Kong Country Return stage because it's really funny. Like I
they're going into the background. That was such a cool idea. Yeah, I'm surprised that they never followed up on that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would totally bring that back. Yeah, those would be my 3 picks. But yeah, no, it's this whole thing is just it's really cool to just get a random update in there, and I wonder, I don't know. Again, it's just interesting. It's like I wonder if this also means like, are we closer or farther to our next? Like, I feel like that's my question too. Of just like we just got Pikmin randomly announced today. And Nintendo said they're going to be doing more partner showcases. It's like, are we just... I feel like we're not... Like I said, I feel like we're not even going to... By this point, I feel like we're not going to see the next character till maybe like end of September or October.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the case.
And that's probably when we're going to get like the next like big update too, you know? Now... Yeah,
exactly.
The one area in terms of patches I did want to touch upon is balance patches.
Yeah.
And... You know, I'm not going to open, like, the specifics of, like, oh, well, you remember this patch when this happened. I just want to talk about, like, the general philosophy. Right. And I want to, like, I want to talk about how, like, it's interesting that, how the philosophy sort of changed. Because if you remember, like, in Smash 4, it generally felt like every patch, everyone was just getting nerfed. It was just nerfs, you know what I mean?
Right.
And in a Smash Ultimate, it's like, wait a minute, like, they literally, like, they have very rarely, like, nerfed stuff straight up, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It feels like they've been more focusing on buffing, they've been more focusing on buffing characters than nerfing characters, you know? Yeah,
exactly. No, I'm with you on that, like, I agree, it's like, and that we've talked about that, that I think buffs are just more enjoyable than nerfs. Obviously, if something's broken, it should nerf it, but it's like, I feel like it's just more fun for people to have just more incentives to pick up a character as opposed to being like, well, now this character sucks, I'm not going to pick him up. And that's why whenever we see competitive matches, obviously now it's lesser than usual, but it's like, that's why we really do see multiple, like, we see like people using so many different characters this time around, as opposed to Smash 4, where it really felt like we were seeing the same 5 characters over and over again. It feels like they're just doing their best with that. But yeah, I mean, like, I think until all the characters are out, I think they're just gonna save character patches that are random for like the big updates. Mm-hmm. Like, I think the big updates are just when we're gonna see character stuff, and then maybe when Fighter Pass 2 is done, then they will have random times where the game's just updating with character patches, just so that like people have something to look forward to and be like, oh shit, there's a cool thing to jump into for Smash.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think the philosophy of buffing characters so that they're across the board they're better, as opposed to like continually nerfing everyone. It's like I feel like when you read like this character got nerfed, you're like it's more negative. Like, even if everyone's around the same power level, it's making everyone feel weaker to do so. Whereas, like, if you buff everyone up and keep the strong characters strong, everyone feels more equal, but it's more of, like, it feels better because your character feels better, as opposed to a character feeling worse. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. No, I agree with you. And again, like, I really do think, like, of this specific update, I think, obviously, the small battlefields, it's cute and funny, but I really do think just... Yeah, that one-on-one battles are adjusted with input lag, and they literally say further investigations and adjustments to online mode are expected. It's like, to me, that's like just a really good sign that it's not just like, oh, here's a bug fix. It's like, no, they are really looking at the online experience and really thinking, okay, let's just, obviously, I think there's a limit to how good they can make it, but I think they're trying to make it as good as they possibly can, which I'm really happy about. Like, that's just like it's a nice thing to hear from the Smash team, which has obviously like been heavily criticized with their online. And again, it shows you that being vocal doesn't always mean, like, obviously there's always going to be assholes with everything, but it's like being vocal with how you feel about a problem that's fairly can show changes. You know, I think that's why it's always important to I think that's why it's always important to voice your opinion and thoughts on stuff, even like if it'll draw in some shitty people. It's like, it's always good to just bring that out there. And
I think in regards to that, like, you have to remember, Smash 4 was literally the first Smash game ever to update the game, like, in any capacity, you know? Like, because, like, it's not like you had... it's not like, cause a lot of like fighting games prior to like the patching DLC era, they'd have like revisions. You know what I mean? Like you have your Street Fighter 3, and then they did Second Impact, and then they did Third Strike. But it's not like they ever did that for Smash. Smash was Smash. There were no updated versions of the same game. There was no Brawl 2, Brawl X, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I think, they sort of like were getting grips on it. They were getting grips on it with Smash 4. And now in Ultimate, they're like, we have a system that, is more streamlined. You know what I mean? And in regards to being vocal, like a lot of the stuff that has been patched I feel like has been at least a response to the community in some capacity, especially with like balancing updates, where like Sakura's like, I'm watching the tournament scene, I'm keeping aware of what's going on, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And again, I'm also really happy about the music thing. Like now, like because I love the aesthetic of Battlefield, and obviously I like Battlefield and Final Destination music, but like being able to play I think Final Destination being able to play it with some of the most epic like tracks in the game, I think that's just really fucking cool. Like I think that's like it's such a small thing, but it's something I've always been like that would just be awesome if they did, and it's cool that they did it. Again, just it's the continuous little things that they added that I think make like a fun difference of everything. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll see. Like I think I'm happy that they are so willing to make all the the adjustments that they have so far, you know what I mean? Like, right. I feel like at least now they are willing to change the games. I feel like a lot of Nintendo games, especially ones with like a lot of Nintendo games like prior, just the games would just never be updated. Like if there was like some sort of there was so much absurd stuff in a game like Brawl, you know what I mean? Like imagine if Brawl actually had patches and stuff like that, so that you wouldn't have such broken mess of characters, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's cool. Is there any like other small update like this that you would like to see come in, like something that's like just a random small adjustment or something random like that?
At this point, like. I don't know. At this point, I feel like they've been doing such a good job. It's so easy for me to say, like, I would really like to see, you know what? Actually, I rescind that. I would actually like to see, like, an expanded world of light. Like, a new scenario, a new map, you know what I mean? Like, a new area to go through. Because I know people, like, a lot of people didn't finish World of Light, I understand. I still had a lot of fun going through it, getting all the spirits, like, exploring. Like, even if it wasn't anything super deep, I still enjoyed it, and I think if they, like, made a new version of it that, like, took in the feedback that people didn't like and made, like, a new scenario with, like, the spirit battles, I'd be all for that.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, it's like, there's so many of the random DLC spirits that they added that I have not done, and I'd love if they just made, like, here's a World of Light version that will keep updating as new spirit battles continue, and that way you feel like you're not just rotating them on a spirit board hoping that you get them. You're like, you have like a grid that you're going through to kind of collect them, which would be really cool. And they can make like the background of it like a neutral one, that way it doesn't have to like be like related to third party stuff and all of that. Like they could just like have it so that's those. World of Light almost like, I enjoyed it way more than just doing spirit board fights, because it felt good to it felt like I was making progress on something, you know? And it'd be really cool, like, every time DLC spirits drop, you went and continued that World of Light road, whatever they call it, DLC road or something, and, like, you get, like, a special one for completing them. So, something like that just makes it more incentivizing to jump into the spirit battles.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, again, there's a lot of cool tiny things that I can keep doing. Like I said, I think the biggest thing for me is I want more whatever the fuck they'll call it for other stages, small variants of stages and stuff. That would be really cool. So is there anything else you wanna touch on, or do you think I think we
covered the breadth. I mean, obviously, like we could do a whole episode on like talking about the history of balance changes and stuff, but I just wanted to brush upon like how I think the philosophy is so much better now than it used to be, you know what I mean?
I agree. There's a bit more streamlinedness to it all. But yeah, so guys, let us know what you think of the latest update. Let us know what you want to see in future updates. Let us know just in general what you think about all this stuff. And of course, we will see you all next week. And remember, you can follow me on the down low on Twitter. You can subscribe here for more. Follow me on twitch.tv/gamescades. You can follow Ultima at UltimaShadowX. And yeah, we will see you all next week. So peace out.
Peace.